So we all need more hours in our day, more hours to work, more hours at home, more hours with family, more hours with friends. We just need more hours. So having a really awesome project manager and SOP in place will give you more time. Promise. Trust us. Promise.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
Project management, a client account manager, or is a client account manager a project manager? It can be confusing at times, and especially when you're trying to figure out who you should hire in your agency. So in this episode of the Happy Clients Podcast, we will unpack the main differences between a project manager and a client account manager. And we're going to help you figure out who you need in your agency. So let's get into it.
Awesome. I'm so excited for this. This is such a great topic. And this one really came out of our market telling us what they need. So people were coming to us and they were figuring out their next move, like we talked about in the episodes before. But people really just distinguishing between the two and making sure they're getting all their bases covered. So just because there's no cookie cutter agency and all these kind of roles need to be evergreen, it's good to just break it down and see where the differences lie between project management and client account management.
Right. And there's so much that can contribute to a successful digital marketing agency. So let's get some clarity and dive into the differences, but also how each of these roles overlap in the agency world. So starting out with defining some roles, a project manager in an agency is someone who's overall kind of in charge of planning, executing a project. So in the agency world, this is likely those one-off projects, maybe a brand refresh or a website design or a landing page, and some ongoing retainer clients. So working on their creative reporting and things like that. The person managing the project is responsible that everything is getting executed. A client account manager encompasses project management, but they're also client facing. So it's like the marketing umbrella, and then you have sales that falls underneath marketing. A client account manager does both. They do the project management and they're also client facing. So it's that one role in the agency that's talking to the client, but also managing the internal team.
That one super unicorn that we're always talking about. So if we're chatting about project management, there's a lot of value in having a really effective project manager in your agency. And like we said, it can be a combination of both client account management and project management. So we all need more hours in our day, more hours to work, more hours at home, more hours with family, more hours with friends. We just need more hours. So having a really awesome project manager and SOP in place will give you more time. Promise. Trust us. Promise. So Taylor, you're the queen of project management. You've taught me everything I know, why project management is so important and how to really streamline those systems. So tell me, why is it so important in the agency world?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing when we speak to agency owners, one of their main pain points is they're worried things are falling through the cracks, whether it's client communication, whether it's projects, getting ads live, getting landing pages finalized, getting things approved. There's always things that are falling through the cracks. So by having someone in charge of project management, they are executing and making sure that nothing is being missed. They're making sure that the media buyers are getting done what they need to get done, boxes are being checked, things are just getting done. And from the CEO or the agency owner's point of view, they want to know high level that everything is moving forward and things are getting done. So when we look at project management, we're not just looking at the onboarding flow of a new client or the launch of a new funnel. We're looking at all the pieces and all the people that need to know what's going on. So for example, having a dashboard for the CEO or the COO so that they can see high level what's going on. So for example, one of our agencies is a YouTube agency, and they want to know what projects are in script writing, what projects are in video editing, and what's in media buying. They want to know high level, how long things are taking and where there's bottlenecks going on. But for someone like myself as the client account manager, I want to know the very fine details of that project, not just high level. I want to know what stage of the script are we at? Are they in approvals with the client? Did the client have feedback? Are there edits being made? Are we waiting on the links to push their ads forward? All of these tiny little details I need to know, or the team needs to know, but the CEO doesn't. So we look at project management in different buckets of what the priority is for whoever's involved. The client, for example, may need to know twice a week what's going on in their account. So the client account manager or the project manager would be responsible for pulling together that list, the status of all the tasks, and then sharing that to whoever's communicating with the client. For example, when we're speaking about a client account manager, we're responsible for both of those things, not only communicating with the client, but also project managing. So that's how I look at project management is there's always tiny little details that need to be ensuring that they're getting done, but we need someone responsible for pushing things forward. If you're the CEO of an agency, the last thing you need to be doing is going through an onboarding process with your clients and checking things and looking at landing pages and getting approval. Like those are such little details that you should not be worrying about. Those are something that you should be handing over to either a project manager, a client account manager, to someone on your team so that you can get out of the day to day.
And as a client account manager, it also gives us like a security, right? We know what's happening. We can deliver to the client. Like we know they're happy even before they can say it themselves. Like things are going as planned. There's no snags. And if there is a snag, we're communicating that. So it's really something that goes hand in hand. Like we said, these worlds collide, CAM and project management life, they both overlap, which is awesome for everybody, really. It's so helpful. So we're firm believers in knowing the entire scope of everything. Like you said, Taylor, those details of every client, every account. And no, you're not going to be working on every task, but you should know why these tasks are happening and when and who's responsible for them. So here's how we look at project management as account managers. So first, and Taylor, you mentioned this, which was so great because onboarding and how crucial is onboarding. Like it's just the first impression. People are getting to know the agency. Many people are even getting to know digital marketing, right? Onboarding is so important and we need to make it really awesome. Here, we want to work fast and efficiently so that the client feels supported and that they're our top priority. And when I say they're our top priority, it's definitely us working from the agency. Maybe not Dot and Company, but whatever agency you're working for. So obviously, you need to be on top of everything and you need to be both communicating that to the client and also managing that internally and making sure things are on task. So onboarding is so important and it does take a really special client facing person to make that experience great for the client. In terms of onboarding and getting people really invested, not even financially, but totally invested in the agency and the team, having that CAM is super important. But then also to make sure everything is checked off, like you said, Taylor, and from a project management side, also super crucial. It's also important to talk about task management from emails and Slack. These platforms, whatever they may be, of course, we're always in and out of email, Asana, Slack. We need to use these platforms to the best of their abilities. So I work with an agency and the media buyer can't quite grasp the fact that tasks are living in Asana. So it's always a quick link to the Slack channel. Hey, this is happening. Hey, go check this out, just to make sure that project stays on task and that people are looped in. And as we all know, not everybody follows the rules. So we just have to make sure that you even know your internal team. And that's a huge part of project management, how we're going to get tasks done efficiently. Although CAMs are client facing, we need the projects to run smoothly so that the communication is positive. So if we keep on track of the tasks and then we're on top of our game, then the clients are taken care of. And it's almost like you're one step ahead of them. You know the answers to the questions before they ask them, which is just an awesome part of being a really awesome client account manager. And that's what agencies want too, right? They don't need any bad blood, especially during kind of peak times, maybe Black Fridays or holiday sales or even onboarding. So the last piece of the project management and account management puzzle is client meetings. So updating projects just gets the CAMs ready for those really effective client meetings. And don't think that you can't go and ask for that as a client account manager. Hey, media buyer, what's going on here? I have a meeting. So just being on top of all the tasks. Where are we with this? I see this is coming down the pipeline. How can I help here? So just being on top of the tasks and keeping everything in a really good flow, it just helps client account managers be efficient. And then that's hugely dependent on project management. And kind of the last piece to this puzzle is the reporting, because we all know that clients really love the data and the stats and results and laying that out in front of them. And you really need to work with a great project management tool to get those numbers to the clients in as close to real time or expected time as possible.
And speaking of software and project management tools, I'm going to jump in and just speak a little bit about what we recommend, because this is probably one of the biggest questions we get. And I always say that the best project management tool is the one that's actually used. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific tool, it just has to be used by everyone on the team. Because I've worked in lots of agencies where we have Monday.com or we have Asana built out, but if no one uses it, it's useless. And these tools are made to make your life easier, to give you insight into what's going on with your projects, to build dashboards, to keep people accountable, and to track things. So, personally, in our agency and in most of the agencies that we work in, we use Asana. This could change in a few months or in a year, but right now, when we're recording this podcast, we love Asana. And the reason that we do is because it's free to start. Of course, there's paid features, but it's really easy to use. It's easy to look at, it's easy to delegate, and we just really like it. But again, the most important thing is that everyone is using it. So things like Monday.com, Asana, ClickUp, there's tons of different softwares that you can use, but research, find the best one that's going to work for you, the one that you feel gives you the best user interface, and just give it a go. And we have onboarding templates and checklists. So we have one built out that you can just actually download and upload into whatever software you're using. So go grab that on our website, www.dotandcompany.co/checklist. And it's so important to have these tools in your toolbox. We have perfected the onboarding system for agencies. So just upload that and just make it your own and use it. And if you're the leader of an agency, make sure you're using it yourself. If there's tasks being delegated to you, make sure you are actually going in there and taking care of them and just setting an example for the team, because I find that's super important for agencies. And
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah. So I can totally agree with that. And sometimes there's like people management too. You have to manage your internal team. And like I said, there's this media buyer we work with just cannot check Asana first. They're just like living in Slack. So whatever you can do to point the arrow in that direction is always helpful. And it's also good to point out that we have external Asana builds like templates and getting people ready for different sort of ads, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. But we also have internal templates that we use to keep us on track. So there's a project management element there as well. You do have responsibilities that you need to be accountable for. So let's task them out. Let's put them in a checklist somewhere and make sure that you're being held accountable for the same sort of tasks that your whole team is. So it works both ways. You can manage your team, you can manage yourself, just really use those project management tools. Also, to your earlier point, Taylor, when CEOs want to see high level what's happening, they just peek in to Monday.com, to Asana, and they see what's happening. So that's when those dashboards are really important, that, they're up to date and people are really, I guess, sticking with what they're supposed to be delivering, because at any time, kind of CEOs like to go in there and just get a pulse on what's happening in their agency. So if you want to get an onboarding checklist, just drop by our website, like Taylor said, www.dotandcompany.co/checklist. We'll also drop it in the show notes, but it's an amazing resource and you can implement it directly into your agency. It's a no-brainer. Go get it.
as a recap, a project manager is a super important role in an agency, but a client account manager kind of encompasses project management and being client facing. So most agencies, when they chat with us about figuring out the best role, we always recommend finding someone who can be client facing, like a client account manager, and is also strong in project management. It's just going to be the best bang for your buck. It's going to get you as the agency owner out of the day as quick as possible because you know someone can speak confidently to clients, but also make sure that behind the scenes, everything's getting done. So tune in to our next episode. Until next time, cheers to happy clients.
Cheers.